Up here at Monte Cristo Campground. I got the Zeus 2 set up because I want to show something a company gave me. It'll be a separate video, but this is the Zeus 2 tent. I used this last time right over there and the wind was strong. The wind's already picking up now. But this is a great tent. Single wall. Nice big vestibule, 2 people, 1 person, luxury. Now, you can have campfires up here. This is a co-worker of mine, Sean. He works with me. And Gilbert's from where? What city?
Burbank.
Burbank, that's right. He's just up for the day. He's taking off today. And where you headed?
Got a go-kart race tomorrow and a car show on Sunday.
Right on. We're gonna have some dinner cooked in here. There's a little camp over there. It's a camp here. River runs through. But tonight I'll be in
It's
the
a fort show, all fort.
Hennessy hammock with a hex tarp. Jacks are better, underquilt. Hammock gear overquilt. Both 20 degree. Overquilt's got some extra stuffing in it. And those guys are with us. They'll come over and introduce themselves. And these guys are with us. They'll introduce themselves. Got the Coleman stove going. East Fork Bighorn sheep with us.
Basically, the bottom end.
Coffee pot, titanium pot,
Have it internally balanced.
Frangia pot, GSI, laser etch skillet,
I have a 460 in my truck, so I might just build the 460 instead.
charging light, griddle, sun coming up, got cakes on the griddle. Coleman stove, igloo, Coleman ice chest, igloo. But some people are gonna come up, squirrel. Some people are gonna join us up here, and there was a surprise. Tomorrow morning, the owner, matter of fact, that looks like him now. That totally looks like him right now. I think that is him. Hold on a second. It's Lars, the owner of the Monte Cristo mine. He's gonna come down, open the gate up, and he's gonna escort a caravan of us back there to check out his mines. That was the surprise. By the time you see this, it will have been over, but I put in a video invite. I put a video reminder. So that was Lars. He's going home. He has a place up here, but he has another place down in the lowlands, flatlander. He'll be back tomorrow. Meanwhile, I'll let this guy tell you about his motorcycle. He's with us too.
This was back in the early 80s, late 70s, and so yeah, that was.
Hey man, tell us about your motorcycle here that's set up.
I got a KLR 650, and he's an off-roader trail rider, and a crasher and a basher. That was last week at Silverwood. Yeah, the other side, you can see what the other side looks like. I was fishing on the backside of Silverwood, and I went down this embankment down to where the water was at, and it was pretty crazy. I almost ate it going down, but on the way up, I just gave it too much gas. I went right into the mountain. Boom! My bike went that way, and I went that way. Pitched right into the mountain.
What do you got? What do you got on here? You got your tent and.
My tent's already up, but I had 2 other bags that were on top, and so that pretty much got all my.
Venture Pass.
Oh yeah, gotta have one of them.
My friend Carl's got one. I'm not sure. Carl's is a BMW. Yours is a Kawasaki?
It's a Kawasaki with the skull and crossbones. The brand.
And then you got your Eureka tent. I have a
Yes,
Eureka
sir.
too. I have a Eureka tent back over in back of me. Zeus 2. This is the Timberline, yeah.
This is the Timberline, yeah. I like it.
Yeah, it is a nice
it's
tent.
A little bit big for the bike, but it's okay. It fits in there. But it's comfortable. I trust it. I've been in some pretty good rainstorms, and I had no leaks. My sleeping bag was dry.
Well, as I told you, there was a surprise coming tomorrow morning. That guy was our surprise. He's going to take us. He's going to open that gate and he's take us on his land, and he's going to show us his mines. You'll have open access to all those mines.
As much gold as you can put in your pocket.
And let me guess what they mine there. They mine their own business, right?
Yep. With Liberite.
With Liberite.
You can pick up all the Liberite you want.
Okay.
Pick it up. You got to leave it right there.
I was just going to say.
But they're with us too. They live the foothills of Azusa. He'll come over a little later. So the group's growing.
Yeah, I'm
For
over
Friday.
by Vesperia Lake.
Hey, Steve made it.
Yeah, well,
Sean's running the old Coleman with some tri-tip. Steve showed up. New tarp.
Smoke has it out for me, man.
Rockfish
Smoke has it out for me.
and perch.
What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Beer? Is that a flavored beer with a bunch
No,
of
it's
stuff in it?
minchilada.
Some enchiladas.
It's like a Mexican style.
Oh, they just ruined everything.
No, it has a bunch of spices.
I'm saying, they
spicy.
take something that's perfectly great by itself. Really good.
Hell yeah.
Some more.
All right.
Yeah, I've got my little cup.
What?
I'll take it.
This type of boxy ambulance.
oh yeah, those are sick.
And I want to convert it to an RV.
Nice. Yeah.
Run the world. Yeah. That's what like UPS does. They charge.
Morning, everybody.
How'd you sleep?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It was a little bit chilly.
So they
About 4:30.
They're able to absorb
Got out of the
that.
sleeping bag. It was a bit hard to warm back up.
And they just ride it off and stuff.
It was alright.
Yeah, our losses are just going to
Well, now, if you didn't make it to my open invite, this was the prize. We're up here, Monte Cristo mine again. If you didn't see my other video to this, there'll be a link in the details. That well's from the 1800s. These are some of the guys that showed up. One guy stayed in camp, one guy had to leave, but the rest of them are all showing up here. Multiple vehicles. And there you got Mike, Roman, Steve. Brought my car. My car had 3 people inside, and then the back was full. All these guys rode in the back of my truck.
Well, it depends on what you want for. 9 will do a mountain lion or anything. Yeah. A bear.
Oh, it's smaller.
I was trying to get about 24.
What are you, Dirty Harry? That's Lars White there in the center. The chain dragon coming out. Look at, this is the guy that won the last contest with the giveaway. Actually, he didn't win. Somebody else won, but then something they said is like, the tribe has spoken. You're gone. So this guy was next runner-up, and one of the questions. What was one of the questions?
What was the doorbell?
Show him the doorbell.
Yeah.
One of the other questions was, how many times did you say that's what she said? That's what she said.
We're going up. 2 new subscribers from Glendale. Right, let's go.
Yeah, I use one of those at work. Yeah, we call it the dumpster.
This is the thing that pinned me up against the wall.
Oh shit.
So since then, I added this because I was wearing gloves, and this had me pinned up against the wall, and it was coming up my chest, and that track was coming up my leg. And I'm reaching. This was behind me, so I'm reaching, trying to find the switch to turn it off because the clutch wasn't letting go. It was pushing into my stomach. So since then, I've
Emergency
got put on
shut off.
emergency stop.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's just tied in with your battery.
yeah.
That just cuts everything.
This is from a scrapper that was on his way to junking. Well, that's what happened to the mill. Somebody scrapped it. But this is the anvil in the mill. This is what the stamps are. Wow.
Dude, that thing is, that's awesome.
Heavy as hell.
Yeah, I bet it is.
But we set it up on this drum, and I was wondering if the drum was going to collapse. But if we get any large rocks like those back there, throw them on here. Then it it's ready to go into the or into the jaw crusher. Unless it's small enough, and then we just drop it in here and it goes into the chain mill. These chains spin around and beat the heck out of the rock. Once it gets small enough, the fine stuff material, the fine material passes through this screen, drops into a bucket, and then we go from there. From there we take it inside to the shaker table.
I had to get some gas on it.
But it's a fairly manual process.
Stopping is really not a good idea.
I noticed you have the solar. What's that powering? The
Just charging a battery?
Oh, this panel here? Yeah, that charges battery for this winch here. So if we have a heavy bucket, we can winch it up.
Yeah. No need to break your back over.
No, especially when you're working with, a ton is 40 buckets. And they judge the amount of gold by ounces per ton, which we aren't even getting. We don't even discuss it. We don't get much at all. But in ounces per ton, 40 buckets, that's a lot of lifting, especially when each bucket is 50, 60 pounds. It'll get tedious quick.
The yellow dirt up there, is that a tailings from a...
Yeah, that's from
They're not the greatest bike, but
the original Monte Cristo, what they call the Monte Cristo upper. And there was rich enough gold up there that in that tunnelway that went in, or the adit, they stoped up to the surface.
Oh, wow.
And it's all caved in since then.
Oh, that's
So-
some of the workings above it that's, you can see, like,
way more balance. It
at
just
a
doesn't have to be
45-degree angle from the flat part.
Where the lines are?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
From the tailings, the flat part of the tailings up 45 degrees, looks like there's some other...
yeah. There's a shaft there that goes from the upper.
He said shaft.
Passes the upper shaft because it's plugged up now, and it goes down to the lower tunnel, which is over here. We'll stop at first. That's the one that's
tunnel on
accessible.
the side of the mountain right there, so it's just down.
Yeah, it's just below on this plateau. It's the lower one is.
Sweet, man.
But they cut the lower one in, trying to cross the vein where it comes down, and they passed it by about 30 feet. And then they cut in, went sideways, found some, and quit. They went in almost 400 feet, and then gave up on it. But they used it as a haulage tunnel. They cut the shaft down. Anything that got out of the top, they just drop it down the shaft, catch it at the bottom. That way they don't have to bring it all the way down the mountain.
Right. Smart.
Gravity can be your friend, except for when you fall.
There's ore car rails and stuff?
Chemicals and such in there.
Oh, wow. Cool. Yeah, sanding discs, flap discs.
Yep.
Cool.
Nitric acid, hydrochloric acid, which is what you use to make aqua regia. Aqua regia dissolves gold.
So you're not using mercury, are you?
No.
You made that with your clock with your CNC?
Yeah, with my router, yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
That is pretty nice.
Kept coming home late. So I made a clock. I gotta find some place to hang it though. Stay. That's what I like about this shop. It's big enough that you have a place to put stuff.
Recirculating the water?
Yeah.
So then you're controlling the flow kind of like that by the water.
This and these two valves down here. So any heavy materials should come up here and go down into the number 1 bin. Any middlings or so-so materials should go into the number 2. It's not quite set up for this material, so you're getting more than you should over there.
Man, you got that crushed into some fine stuff.
Yeah.
Like your little duct tape jams.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a lot of black sand showing
Yes,
up?
yes. And if you see something that might be interesting, zoom in on it, take a look. It'll drive your eyes buggy looking through a magnifying glass at a shaking table. Then you have to use the flotation process.
Oh wow.
Which you put the ore into it, grind it up, put it into a tank of water, put some chemicals in with it that will grab hold of the air bubbles that you blow up through it, and it will also attach to the ore. For instance, for gold, it would be pine oil.
Okay.
The gold will float then to the top, adhered to the pine oil, and then you just skim off the foam. Then you have to process the foam.
So back in the day, like the people like in Peru and stuff, they used the mercury. Is that to the fast track to smelting gold?
They use that in the United States a lot.
Yeah, mercury picks up fine gold very readily.
Many years ago with my dad and my mom and when we were wandering around back in the hills behind it, found an old mine with the concrete tanks.
Yeah.
And found barrels of sodium sodium cyanide.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cyanization.
Yeah.
It's a leaching process. And they used to have a cyanide tank up here. But once they had processed enough out to find out that it was worthwhile, then they just shipped the ore out. So this site was mostly a test site to test the ore. If it was good enough, then they shipped it out.
Up at the Allison, they used to use mercury. That's why you're not supposed to drink from. That's why you're not supposed to. But I drank from it. I drank from it without even filtering. That time I thought I was going to die.
The stamp mill used to have a copper trough that came out of it, and copper and mercury will stick together. And the mercury will stick to the copper. Then, as the slurry came out of the stamp mill, the gold would stick to the mercury, and the tailings would flow off the end. That's only about 75 to 80% efficient. You lose 15, 20%, or 15 to 25% you lose off the end. So if you go through the old tailings, you may find some gold, but it's got to be hooked up with mercury. If it's in the desert, mercury evaporates at a fairly low temperature. So you start digging into the dirt, exposing that mercury, it evaporates, you get it into your lungs, and you get mercury poisoning. It tends to be a bad deal. Yeah, we don't want to poison ourselves, we don't want to poison the frogs or any of the wildlife up here, so we're staying as green as possible. And we don't, any of our acids that we use, we neutralize them before we dispose of them.
And how do you neutralize that?
Baking soda. Yep. Test it out to pH of 7. And any of the water that we get flowing out of the mines after a rain, we'll test that, make sure it's not acidic. Because the sulfur in the mine will create sulfuric acid.
Also, you almost gotta have a background in chemistry to even
I didn't
get
pay
your foot in the
attention
door, right?
class, so I didn't pay attention much in class. I know what a beaker is and a test tube. Other than that, it's
Beakers that grind the Muppets.
YouTube University will teach you a lot.
YouTube University.
Super neat.
Yeah. You don't get a diploma, but you get a lot of education. And then once you try some of the stuff that they show you, you realize that, that doesn't work and they were just joking. But, some of the stuff that they joke about, oh yeah, this works, you mix this together, and that stuff will kill you then. You mix nitric acid with some of this material, like, well, even gold or silver or aluminum, it'll put out nitric fumes, nitrogen dioxide or nitrogen trioxide, which are poisonous. So you get some nice red or brown fumes. One thing I've learned is apparently any fumes that you get from a chemistry experiment are bad for you. Who would have known? I thought it was okay. Flame underneath it, right in here, the fire chamber. And it heats this thing up to about 1700 degrees and it burns off all the sulfur and leaves you with a material that is then processable in the furnace. You mix this, the proceeds from this you mix with some fluxes.
Okay.
Put it in the furnace, melt it down into homemade lava, and then you pour it into a cone-shaped mold that's inside because I didn't want it to rust.
So this will isolate some of the byproduct and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
just to make it more.
This you got to get rid of the sulfur, because the sulfur and the iron sulfide, will lock gold in with it. So you break the sulfur out, then you're left with iron and any of the gold that's remaining.
Okay.
Then you have to do the fire assay to get the gold separated from the iron. And so you've got your flux, put some lead in there as a collector metal. It collects the gold and drops to the bottom. And you fire it up, cook it, and it's pour it into a conical mold. At the bottom of the mold, you'll have a little button of lead, and hopefully there's gold in it. You then put that into a bone ash cupel, which bone ash will absorb lead, but not gold or silver. And the lead actually turns to lead oxide. At that point, it goes into the cupel, into the cupel. So as you're cooking it, the cupel turns from a white color, it starts getting yellow as it's absorbing. And once you're done, there's a little dot in the bottom. You take that out of the furnace. As it cools, it blinks. Gold will blink as it cools down at the point where it transitions from a liquid to a solid. And that's the release of what is called latent heat, which is heat that you cannot feel or measure with a thermometer, but it's energy nonetheless. It's like boiling water. You get it up to 212 degrees, then it just stays there for a while. You're adding latent heat, and then it starts to boil.
Interesting.
So, but water doesn't blink at you when it turns into ice. It'd be cool. But there's enough energy in the gold that it'll actually radiate light at the moment that it transitions. And this is the furnace. Another homemade job. We tried to make it good, but it's gone horribly wrong.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is, you can see I've spilled slag down in there, so it's got...
Now, when you have the cover on, would you have to putty the sides to keep it?
No. This is 2 inches of refractory cement, and then a layer of kale wool. And this thing will get up to 2,500 degrees. It'll melt iron.
Wow.
But at that point, you're also burning your beard and losing your eyebrows if you look down into it while it's going.
And what's your main source of fuel for heating? Just
duck farts. I mean propane. Yeah. Duck farts are hard to collect. Crazy. But, we got the cupel that we use. Is that size, and the materials that you're actually cooking in it are corrosive, so eventually that happens to it. So it burns out, dumps your whole load into the bottom of the furnace.
He said dumps your load.
Yeah.
well, that's why I was sort of curious. Because when I do CADweld at work, our mold, we gotta actually put putty and stuff around it to seal it in so it doesn't do that.
Yeah, yeah. No, this, you gotta just put it in there and let it heat up. This is a graphite clay, and it does pretty good. I've got 2 more that I purchased that are what they call the salamander crucibles, which are supposedly corrosion resistant.
And then how many uses would you get out of
this? I get about 20 fires. But, I melted copper in this one, and I melted the slag. I've done aluminum and other ones. Aluminum's easy, except it's really hot. You got to, don't let it fool you. It's not like lead. It's not 800 degrees, which will still burn you. But 1700 degrees or so.
So first we're going to show them the Monte Cristo mine and then the Manzanita. For those who showed up at my camp, they're getting a first-hand history of some of the mining in the San Gabriels. Yeah, they took quads. Still see the rails that the ore carts were on. Out my headlight. Pretty neat, huh?
That's partially
Steve.
Yeah.
This is the one where you said they branched off looking for the vein? I believe this is the one.
Okay, because I was thinking with my oven and stuff, I was going to start generating. Yeah. Because also, if you say that, because I was having my ears at the end of my video, ask a question. Yeah. Like, what is America doing? Yeah. Or what are you willing to give to America? Yeah. Or why are you asking America to do for this? They drove down there. Oh, I love that. I figured it's safer. Yeah, I was going to say because of the pavement, I would think. Oh, no, stick. Where'd you buy
It's a sleet, that's a sleet stack leg bone.
Yeah, that's a dinosaur leg bone, Stegosaurus.
Walking through there, that's when the short guys are laughing at the tall guys.
How about here?
Like granite? Like
Yep.
I'm sure it's a lot of rock.
Yeah, it's in the rock. And
So that's why when they find that vein, I can see that vein line that ran through here. That's why they were chasing that vein.
yep. Yeah, the vein comes out here and goes across the road here. It's kind of hard to see. But on the other side of the canyon there, you see that dirt mound up near halfway up the top. That dirt mound is the Monte Cristo Center mine. And
We climbed that last time, right?
Yeah, that's when you guys climbed. That's where I was buzzing you with the drone.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. And below that are two other prospects, but that's where the vein goes through that hill. You come out on the other side, the vein continues on and becomes the Monte Cristo, or it's now called the Lucky Strike Mine.
And we went to that one too.
Yes, you went down.
We
into Lucky
drove
Strike.
around that road though, right?
Yes.
Look at that. There, I just seen it. There's a trail that goes right to it.
Actually, no, you went into the Black Cargo,
That's right.
which is also part of this vein. The Lucky Strike is on the other side of the hill from it. It's the same vein, but
Will that trail there go to it?
I don't know.
You see
I'm
that?
not hiking it.
You see a trail there though, right?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it is game trail. We have.
But this one looks like it's actually cut. Like it was a road at one
Yeah,
time.
it could have been. Coming off from that.
Coming
mine
off
there.
that dirt mine.
Yeah, it looks like it came across.
Yeah, by the yellow flowers, right below the yellow flowers.
They might have brought down. They might have brought the ore down from there.
Yeah.
But we call this Suicide Ridge here because we found a lot of mountain lion scat and bones up there. So we know that there's mountain lions up the canyon, and we have a couple of bears that come through and visit. So we try and stay away from them.
So you guys, down in this one here on the left, last time I found a crystal skull. I'm just saying. So there is stuff to be found.
I've done that to weld, like leaned over this one thing and it's like 15-foot drop. And I'm having to weld these like little,
Lars cut these signs with his his router, and CNC router. Pretty nice.
Never mind. Damn flashlight. Never mind.
You lost it?
No, I'm trying to look for it. It's in one of these